So recently in the news, the Alabama Senate race has been the big topic since a number of women have come forward with allegations of sexual assault towards Judge Roy Moore, the Republican in the race. Ever since that point, the responses have been fairly predictable. These allegations need to be investigated, Roy Moore needs to step down, there needs to be a full ethics committee going on. Of course, that's for pretty much all of the sexual assault allegations that are going on nowadays. Should these allegations be investigated? Yeah, of course, absolutely. Any allegations of any illegal behavior should be investigated. These allegations of sexual assault are serious allegations. They need to be investigated. We need to find out if they're true, and if they are true, then whoever performs such acts needs to be thrown in prison because that's not good. So yeah, they absolutely need to be investigated. We need to find out if they're true or not. Should Judge Roy Moore step down? No, I don't think so. I think that'd be a mistake. I think it would set a dangerous precedent that states that so long as there are allegations against somebody, then that person should step down. It would create a precedent that if you want somebody to step down, if you want to destroy somebody's career, just throw some allegations out and just let it roll, and they'll go down. I think that's a really, really bad idea. Now, mind you, if the allegations are true, and I'm not saying they're not, but if they are true, and Judge Roy Moore knows they're true, then he should admit to them and pay consequences for his actions. But he's alleging that they are not true. He's stating that they are not true. He's denying them outright. So no, he should not. I don't believe that he should resign whatsoever. I don't think he should step down. Let's talk about the accusations themselves. The women that have come forward with these allegations are from a number of years ago. The women were in their mid to late teens at the time, and Roy Moore himself was in his early 30s, and he's currently significantly older than that. So these are decades old allegations. The timing of the accusations is also suspect. We're talking about a time frame where the Republican in this race was 11 points ahead in the polls from his Democrat opponent. 11 points. That's not a small lead. And then these allegations come out and everybody starts talking about him dropping out. This does not mean the allegations are false. This doesn't mean the allegations are false at all. But these are things we need to look at. This is pertinent information. No matter how uncomfortable it might be, this is pertinent information, stuff that we have to look at. Now, a lot of Democrats and a lot of people in the mainstream media have been calling for him to step down, and that makes sense. They're his political opponents, so that they're going to do that. What is kind of surprising, though, is the amount of Republicans that have been saying exactly the same thing. Jeff Sessions came out and said that he had absolutely no reason to disbelieve these women, which, I mean, yeah, sure, that's fair. I mean, there isn't a reason to disbelieve them, but just because we believe somebody doesn't mean we just move forward with... just because we believe somebody doesn't mean that we ruin somebody else's life before a full investigation has come forward. Paul Ryan has been saying that Moore should just drop out completely, and even Ben Shapiro, who I normally like and agree with on a lot, has been saying exactly the same thing, that Roy Moore should step aside, and I definitely disagree with him on this point. I think he's wrong. The mainstream media, of course, has been hammering down on this because that's basically what they do. They find a story and they just hammer home on it, and it seems to be the case throughout pretty much the entire country. Everywhere outside of Alabama, pretty much everywhere in the rest of the country is on the same train, saying that Moore should resign, that his allegations prove that he's unfit, which they don't. They allege that he's unfit, but they don't prove that he's unfit. The sexual allegation has to be proven before he is proven to be unfit. But the public opinion in Alabama has been a stark contrast. The Republican Party of Alabama has decided to throw all of their weight behind Roy Moore to stand behind him. And it looks like Roy Moore is going to not give an inch in this one. I think he's. It looks like he's going to push forward, and I think that's a good move because we can't let allegations destroy somebody's career. If they are true, then yeah, his career will be destroyed because he'll be in prison because sexual assault is illegal and it needs to be. But until it is proven, we can't act on it until it is proven. The entire basis of justice in our society is innocent until proven guilty. This is true for everybody. Doesn't matter your skin color, your ethnicity, your creed, your race, your gender, your religion. Doesn't matter. Every single person in the country, innocent until proven guilty. You have to prove their guilt. Because when we're talking about throwing people in prison, it's really easy to say that when it's somebody else. When you're looking at another person saying, oh, well, that person did this terrible thing, we should just lock him up. We are talking about taking away somebody's freedom. We are talking about taking away somebody's rights. That is not something that we should be doing lightly. That is something that we need to make sure that person is guilty before we act. And so we're saying that people saying that Moore should step down. I don't think that's the right answer. I think that's trying to get him to prove his innocence, and is not on him to prove his innocence. It is on his accusers to prove his guilt. It's it's the basis for our entire justice system, and we can't just throw that away because otherwise innocent people will go to prison. We've seen this over and over and over again in societies where the allegations or the accusations of a preferred class are enough to throw somebody in prison. We have seen that abused time and time again. One of the great pieces of literature in American history, To Kill a Mockingbird, is about exactly this. A black man is accused of rape of a white woman, and he's found guilty because he's black. The evidence is overwhelming that he's innocent. The evidence is overwhelming that she made up the allegations because she didn't want to get in trouble with her father. Because in the story they were this, I don't even remember what state. I think they were in Alabama. They were in the Deep South though. They were in the Deep South, and a black man in the 30s was put on trial and executed because of allegations, despite the fact he was innocent. All because he was not of the favored class. We can't let that happen. We've moved past that in this country. We have moved past that in this country, and we cannot go back to it. We just can't. Now, this doesn't mean that people shouldn't not vote for him if they believe these allegations, or if they think that the mere fact that the allegations are there precludes him from fulfilling the job. I'm not saying that. Vote your conscience. Vote the way you feel you need to vote. But when we're asking him to step down, that sets a dangerous precedent, because that means that all we have to do is throw accusations at somebody, and we can just completely destroy them. We can force them to try to prove their innocence rather than having the accusers prove their guilt. It's not a good situation that we would be in. It's not a good situation that we would be in at all. It encourages bad behavior from those who have the ability to accuse. I'm not really articulating myself very well right now, but this is something I'm very, very passionate about. I don't know if it's, so I've never been falsely accused of anything. I've actually never known anybody that's been falsely accused of anything, but I've seen what happens in both literature and in history. I've seen what happens when we allow protected classes, when we allow special classes more social authenticity than other classes, so that all the one person has to do is allege something of somebody else, and that person, their life is ruined. We cannot go back to that. I don't know. I mean, I'm just some guy with a camera.